What is up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. I had full intentions of getting this front lip sanded, polished, and back on the car immediately. However, if you look closely here, you can see where I've already started to sand. I tried to get that spot out from the last video. This is where that bug landed. I used some tape to dab him out. I laid another layer of clear over it. I used some 1500 grit sandpaper. I wet sanded right where that spot was. I actually went a little bit past it. I checked a couple of times to make sure that the high spots weren't there anymore, and when I finally got the entire piece flat, that is when I finally looked down and realized that somehow I burned through. To be honest with you, I'm really not sure how that happened because I got 3 full coats of clear on here before that bug landed in there. I did have to kind of take that tape and move it around to get all the bug particles out of there. The only thing that I can think of that happened is when I did that, I removed a lot of that clear coat that I'd already put on there. This really sucks because in the last video, if you saw it, I was able to lay down my clear coat perfectly, again, aside from the bug that landed in there. I've had so many issues with clear coat running. I can spray primer, spray base coat, no problems. Again though, if you saw the last video, I did 2 things differently and it came out absolutely perfect. One thing that I really focused on was my gun distance from the panel. I made sure that it was at a constant 6 inches from the panel. And the other really big factor that I think played a major role in the clear is my flash times. This time between every coat of clear, I waited 15 minutes and again, it came out perfect. With the rest of the piece coming out absolutely perfect, I am not going to scuff and sand this thing back down and re-clear it. That would be the proper way to do it. However, that seems like it would be a big waste of time, especially since the only spot that burned through is right here at the top. I think what I'm going to do is actually try to blend the clear. I picked this up actually a while ago for another project and ended up deciding not to use it. So I think it's about time that I at least tried to use this just to see how well it'll come out. This front lip is the perfect piece to do it on. There's a lot of curves. There's not a lot of flat areas. It's not like doing it on a door or a fender or a hood or something like that where you'll be able to see that blend line very easily. Since the burn through was right here, my original plan was just to start at this edge right here, make a soft line, come all along the edge, and then come up on the other side. However, I am going to have to touch this up with base coat, and that base coat is going to come out a little bit further. So I want to make sure that that's completely covered with clear. If I was able to do it on this edge, I think it would make that blend line completely invisible. I think my plan right now is to still do the soft edge to about right here, and then I'll use some masking tape and paper and make a little bridge all the way to the bottom. I'll have to do that on both sides. This is my first time doing this. Like I said, I've never actually blended the clear before. I'm going to start off by getting just all of this top piece, all of this front part right here, all scuffed and sanded up. That way that clear has something to stick to. After that, I'll get the base coat touched up right here, and then I can lay down the clear. right, so I got everything sanded down. Everything is ready to go for base and clear. As you can see, the one thing that I really tried not to do that ended up happening anyway is I had more burn throughs, which doesn't really make any sense at all because I was wet sanding with 1000 grit, just trying to take the texture out. But on all these little edges, I guess I just went too far over and it did end up burning through. Started out using the DA, especially on these flat surfaces, and I think that's what ended up doing it. So I did switch over and start doing a lot of it by hand. One thing that I will say is I bought these little film discs from Harbor Freight. I've never really had issues with their sandpaper, but this film style that they have, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. For being 1000 grit, I feel like it should cut a little bit faster than what it did. I kept having to go back over areas that I could still see that were shiny, and I think that's what also made me end up burning through. But I did do everything on the top right here, everything on the front and right here, and on the underside over here. I did all of that with that 1000 grit. And then for the outside areas where I'm actually going to blend, I used 1500 grit. Ended up just going back to the Duragold 1500 grit green paper. For some reason, it just seems to sand a whole lot quicker, a whole lot smoother. I can tell where I'm actually hitting it. So everything starting about right here is that 1500 grit, and I didn't sand it down completely because, like I said, it's going to be my blend area. As you can see, what I did to actually cover it, everything, is I used the foam masking tape. This will leave a nice soft edge on this little edge right here. On the outside of it, I laid another piece of the foam tape going all the way around. You can see here where it wraps around to the back side. I doubled over just another piece of tape and laid that on the top of it. That way it'll have a little bit for it to go in there. It won't leave as hard of an edge if I did just the foam tape. From here, I'm not going to paint this in the garage. I'm actually going to paint it outside. This is a really small area, so I think I can get this done pretty quickly out there. I'll set up the tent. I did actually get a new tent over there, but I'm not going to use that one just yet. I'm going to get one more use out of this one before I trash it. As you can see, there's lots of tears and stuff on top. Once I get the tent set up, I'll get this thing set up underneath it. I'll get the tent taped off. I'll get this thing masked off, and then I can lay down the base coat and clear. If you're in the video. I got the base coat on, I got the clear coat on, and I used the blender on the clear coat. Overall, so far, everything looks pretty nice. You can definitely see right there where my clear coat ends and then where the sanded part begins. Initially, I had my little mini touch-up gun. That's what I was going to use for the base coat, and then you saw, for some reason, when I started spraying it, it sprayed all of these little green and yellow spots out. I have no idea where that came from. I did a test panel on a piece of cardboard, and I didn't see anything. All I did was come back with some 600 grit. I sanded all of those green and yellow spots out. Went back over it with some 1500 grit just to smooth it out and make it even. Did go ahead and scrap that. I went ahead and just trashed that gun. I don't know if it was something internal. Ended up just using my Spectrum gun to spray everything. Even though there wasn't much base coat that I needed to add, I just went ahead and used my big cups. I narrowed the fan pattern, and that way I could just kind of hit the spots that I needed. This inner part right here, all of this right here, I did go ahead and lay down one full layer of base coat. That way you didn't see any splotchy areas. As far as the masking goes, I feel like my masking worked out perfectly. I like how the blend actually did. However, the blender itself, I think, is pretty much useless. If anything, it actually made it worse. The clear coat was looking really, really nice, and then when I started spraying the blender on here, it started to fisheye up a few spots. It's not super noticeable, which is really good, but there are probably 3 little fisheye spots on there. Did the same thing over here too. It just sprayed on really, really heavy in certain spots. Luckily, since the heavy spots landed on the dry side, it just evaporated. Over here, it landed on the wet side, so it did create some little small craters. Aside from that, again, spraying that blender, I didn't really notice a difference when I sprayed it. Once everything evaporated, everything looked exactly the same. The spot right here where I've actually blended it looks exactly the same. I was under the impression that it would actually mix in and blend in right here. I am still gonna have to go back over all of this and polish all of this out because this is where I sanded with the 1500 grit. Pretty happy with how everything came out. I'll be even more happy once I can actually get everything sanded and polished. That way I can see how it's actually gonna look. There probably will be a little bit of a line right there, but it won't be that noticeable. I'm gonna go ahead and let everything flash off, let everything dry overnight. I'll catch back up with you guys in probably a day or two, get this thing sanded and polished, and hopefully back on the car. front lip is finally finished after 3 rounds of trying to paint this thing. It actually looks absolutely amazing. Going into this, I definitely was very, very nervous to do this clear coat blend. As I've mentioned before, it's something that I've never done before, and it turned out great. I'll let you go ahead and get a good look in here. You can see how shiny everything is after I actually polished it. You cannot see that blend line at all. Blend line is somewhere right in here. Truly, truly could not be happier with these results. I'm actually kind of shocked with how good it actually did turn out. So if I get a light on here, you can see everything goes over. You can see how shiny everything is. You can see how everything blends. This side over here truly came out absolutely perfect. This side over here, same thing. It came out really, really nice. Like I said before, when I ended up spraying that solvent blender, it did create a couple of small craters. It did not sand those all the way down, so they are in there. You do have to get right up on it, and it's got to be the perfect light for you to even notice it. This side over here, you can see where that blend line is at a little bit better. Again, it's because of where that solvent blender hit. It created those little micro craters in the clear. I feel like if I hadn't used that stuff at all, it would have actually came out just like the other side. Still, overall, very, very happy. You can see how everything is nice and shiny. Everything blends very, very, very nicely. For the sanding and polishing process, this is what I did. On all the areas where the actual blend is at right here, I hit it with these 3000 grit foam disc first. It just kind of helped to refine all of those 1500 grit scratches. I used the medium coarse pad with my compound right here. I think I did 2 rounds of this on all the blend areas after the 3000. After that, I switched over to the fine pad, hit it with the finishing polish, and that made it really, really shine. For the center area where I actually did all of my clear coat, I did sand some of that down as well, as you saw. Hit that with the 2000 grit first. There was just a lot more texture in there than what I really, really wanted. Hitting it with this 2000 grit just kind of refined that. It kept a little bit of that factory looking orange peel, didn't make it completely flat. And then again, refined it with the 3000 grit, did it with a couple of rounds of the compound, and then finished it off with the polish just like the blend areas. The rest of the car is ceramic coated. I put a 2-year coating on here. It's probably only been through maybe 3 or 4 washes since I did that, so still pretty fresh. It actually has been a couple of years since I put that on there, but I don't drive the car very much, so I don't wash it that much. I did go ahead and clean everything off with some isopropyl alcohol. I added the Armor Shield 9 ceramic coating, and then the other thing that I did is add all of my scrape guards underneath here. Front lip is ready to go back on the car. However, I do want to wash the car first. After you add this ceramic coating, it's supposed to sit for at least 48 hours. It also says that the longer you can keep the coating on there before washing it, it just makes it that much better and lasts that much longer. So I am going to end the video here. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you out. Very, very happy though with the clear coat blend. I would definitely do this again on a small piece like this. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, if this helps you out any. Hit that subscribe button so you can see everything else going on with the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.